Investigative report. Is the IRS a U.S. government agency or an IMF entity? Overview of the claim. There is a recurring narrative, particularly among tax protester circles, that the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, is not an official agency of the United States government. Instead, it is allegedly a collection arm of the International Monetary Fund, IMF. This assertion often references legal cases and legislative documents, including Diversified Metal Products v. IRS, et al. Case No. CV 93405 EAA Public Law 94-564. Senate Report 94-1148, page 5967. Reorganization Plan No. 26. Public Law 102-391. This report analyzes these references and the context to determine the credibility and legal standing of the claim. Section 1, IRS Legal Status. The IRS is a bureau of the U.S. Department of the Treasury, created in 1862. It enforces internal revenue laws and is tasked with collecting federal taxes and administering the Internal Revenue Code. U.S. Department of the Treasury. The IRS is explicitly listed under the Treasury Department's organizational structure. The Commissioner of the IRS is appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. Code of Federal Regulations. The IRS is recognized in Title 26 CFR and enforces Title 26 of the U.S. Code, Internal Revenue Code. Conclusion: from a legal standpoint, the IRS is a legitimate agency of the U.S. federal government. Section 2, Diversified Metal Products v. IRS. CV 93405 EAA claimed interpretation. Some argue that in the Idaho District Court case, the Department of Justice allegedly admitted that the IRS is not a government agency. Reality. The case was a civil lawsuit over a third-party levy, not a constitutional or structural challenge to the IRS's legitimacy. A magistrate judge recommended that IRS attorneys were not properly certified as representing a federal agency, due to technical procedural issues, not because the IRS was foreign. This was not a ruling that the IRS is a private or foreign entity. Conclusion: the case has been misquoted and misinterpreted. It does not support the claim that the IRS is a non-governmental agency. Section 3, Public Law 94-564 and Senate Report 94-1148. Public Law 94-564, passed in 1976. This law required the U.S. to report financial dealings to international organizations like the IMF and World Bank. It included transparency requirements related to U.S. commitments to international institutions. Senate Report 94-1148, page 5967. It supports the idea that the U.S. engages in financial reporting and obligations through international financial organizations. Nowhere does it state the IRS is subordinate to or controlled by the IMF. Conclusion: these documents demonstrate international financial cooperation, not subordination of U.S. tax authorities to foreign powers. Section 4, Reorganization Plan No. 26, 1950. This plan reorganized parts of the Treasury Department, aiming to streamline operations. It reaffirmed the Secretary of the Treasury's authority to delegate responsibilities to various offices. The plan actually solidified the IRS as a functioning arm within the Treasury. No reference to the IMF exists in the plan. Conclusion: Reorganization Plan No. 26 reinforces the IRS's place within the U.S. government, contrary to conspiracy claims. Section 5, Public Law 102-391. This is a Foreign Operations Appropriations Law passed in 1992. It governs foreign aid and appropriations to the State Department and related agencies. No mention of the IRS as a foreign entity. Likely cited in error or out of context. Conclusion: unrelated to the structure or function of the IRS. Final analysis and legal verdict. All documents cited in support of the idea that the IRS is a foreign or IMF-controlled agency are either misquoted, misinterpreted, or taken out of context. The legal and administrative structure of the IRS confirms. It is a bureau of the U.S. Department of the Treasury. It enforces domestic tax law under the authority of Title 26 of the U.S. Code. The cases and laws cited by conspiracy proponents do not prove foreign control or private ownership. Summary. Claim truth. IRS is an IMF entity. False. IRS is a U.S. government agency. True. Diversified Metal case proves IRS is foreign. Misinterpreted. Public laws cited show IRS is international. Misapplied context. Notes. While it's important to scrutinize governmental power, misinformation can harm legitimate reform efforts. Legal tax resistance based on incorrect claims can lead to penalties, liens, and criminal prosecution.